Hi, Aloha Virgo. This is Joy from Tourist Tarot, and we are doing an energy read for you, Virgo. So we are asking what the energy is going to be, or has been, or what's important for Virgo to know. What's important for Virgo to know is what we're asking. So some things that were coming up when I was doing the pre-shuffle was an image of the beach, and a particular beach that I frequent. There's a big wall out there, and everybody likes to jump off of it, but it's quite scary to me, and to other people who are doing it for the first time. And so what was really coming out was like, just jump, just do it, just jump. And yeah, and it's funny because the cards that are coming out now are, I was feeling like it was related to a relationship, and the Lovers fell out, and the Ace of Cups also fell out too. So but let's see what we have here. Okay, so we have the Nine of Coins, which to me, the Nine of Coins is really like independent, and having like really like done a lot of like hard work to gain some real stability and some independence, without having to really rely so much on or be a slave to a job, for money, or be tied to a roommate, or something like that, like you can't leave because or you need to have a roommate in order to pay rent or something like that, right? This is, to me, I'm feeling like this card is for you, is really about like being very independent. So maybe you're a very independent person, and or you've more like you've done your work now, and you don't have to be tied to a roommate, or you don't have to be tied to a particular job, because you already have the financial stability, right? So like if you could tell a job like whatever, right, and just leave. You don't need to have that job for your financial stability. You don't need to have a roommate to in order to pay the rent, right? This is like independence, like you've set it up so that you're very independent. Yeah. So what I'm getting though is that at the same time, it's difficult for you because you enjoy your independence so much, and because you've worked so hard for it, that you're not so eager to let somebody in and kind of like disrupt that which you've created for yourself. Yeah. And so, but I do have here the Ace of Cups coming in, right? So I'm getting the feeling like, yes, you've created this great independence for yourself. You've created this position where you don't necessarily have to rely on anybody. You're very independent, but yet at the same time, I feel like you feel something is missing. And what it is that an emotional connection with another person seems to be missing from this very secure, stable, independent life that you've created for yourself. So coins are very earthly, right? They're all about like the physical reality and what you've created in the physical reality, whereas cups are very flowy, watery emotions, yeah, that flow in and out, and that constantly change and whatnot. And so you have the stability in this 3D reality, but on the emotional level, you're looking for something deeper. And this is telling me that it's coming to you. Yeah, that this emotional connection that you are wanting is coming for you. And here it is, right? In the Ten of Cups. And I when I see this Ten of Cups, I always see that peace sign in the background. That really feels like this emotional like equanimity, like like being very even keeled with your emotions, in the sense where it brings you a lot of peace, yeah, a lot of calm and peace, right? As opposed to emotions that are like always like high or low and high and low, and there's no real middle ground. This feels like, yeah, like equanimity, like you've reached this place where you know how to be in control of, you know how to manage your emotions and not get swept up in them, yet feel all of the beauty and complexity of your emotions, right? It's like your emotions are like the spice of life now, rather than I just had an image of like some, like, just kind of gory, but it's like somebody with a knife coming after you, kind of thing. And that, I feel like, was may have been the level of your emotional fluxes in the past, where you had these really insane, like, emotional highs and lows. Now it feels very much more balanced for you. Yeah, definitely. Okay, and so that's funny though, because it was the Nine of Swords was next to that, right? And yeah, so that just to me is a confirmation that in the past, your emotions may have been or currently, right? Because time is parallel. It's not linear. Your emotions may have in the past or are currently a source of uneasiness and anxiety and uncomfortableness for you. That's what this Nine of Swords is telling me. But as the Ten of Cups is next to the Ace of Cups, I'm really feeling like what's moving out is this anxiety over these emotional fluctuations, these emotional highs and lows. That's moving out for you if it hasn't already. And what's moving is a lot more stability with your emotions, a lot more evenness, equanimity, yeah. And what I feel that it's bringing for you is a partner, the Lovers. For me, the Lovers is a very balanced card. It's like, it's a balancing of the feminine and masculine energies, right, that are inherent in all of us, right? But of course, some of us are very, very feminine, right? We embody those feminine qualities almost to a fault, and then others of us embody the masculine qualities to a fault, right? Whereas we're so heavy on the masculine qualities, of like drive and push and like firmness and that's the feeling I'm getting from the masculine, right? And if you have too much of that and it's not necessarily balanced with the softer feminine of welcoming in and allowing and that sort of thing, then you're not going to feel balanced, right? You're not going to feel in a good place unless you balance those two energies out, right? So for example, if you are heavy on the masculine end and you're all about drive and force and making things happen and being strong, that can get you some good places, right? That can get you to a place where your goals are being met, right? You're following your passion. But then at the same time, if you don't have that balance of the feminine energy, it's like, what is going to be sacrificed in order for you to drive and move forward with your goals, right? Are you going to be sacrificing intimate relationships? Are you going to be sacrificing deep connections with other people? And so the Lover's card is really, to me, a balancing of the masculine and feminine energies first within yourself and then outside of yourself, right? Then with a partner. So so if you are say you're like a very you embody a lot of the feminine qualities and you're very much on the feminine side, it's important that you embrace a little bit more of those masculine qualities to kind of even you out a little bit, right? So that you do have that drive and that force to move your feminine qualities forward also, right, into something positive and productive and whatnot. Yeah. So it's important to balance the masculine and feminine within yourself in order to attract someone who is also balanced in that way, right? So I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm doing justice explaining it, but it really is a balancing as well. And I feel like this card is definitely speaking of balance too, and it's almost like this is kind of like, this is the balancing of yourself I'm feeling, and this is the further balancing of your experience by bringing in someone who also balances you out, right? So so that you may not be way far on the feminine end, but you may be a little bit more towards the middle, still on the feminine end of the spectrum, right? But a little bit more towards the middle. And so in that case, you can bring in someone who is also, pretty balanced, maybe still on the masculine end, but a little bit more towards middle. And that would be a really good match for you. Yeah. Sometimes, we do live in a universe of polars, right? Of light and dark, of high and low, and positive and negative, right? Positive ions, negative ions, and we know from quantum physics that it is about balancing those polarizations, right? You can't have two positives together or two negatives together. Like that's not going to work. That will repel each other. And so it is really about balance. And so what I feel for you is, Virgo, is that you were really in this place, and this is, for whatever reason, I always feel balance with this card too. Yeah, even though it's a 9, I feel balance with this, with the 9 of coins. And so I feel like you've worked really hard to gain some real stability in your life, like material, physical stability, but now you're really wanting to bring in some emotional experience, right? That some connection, some deep connection. And that it is coming for you. It is coming for you because you've created some of that emotional balance in your life, that emotional equanimity in your life, right? And you've let go of those stresses and high and low fluctuations of your emotions. You've been able to balance that all out, and what it's really doing for you is not just creating peace within you and your own emotions, but it's also attracting in a partner that is also in balance and that matches you well. Yeah. And this doesn't necessarily have to be like a romantic partner. It can be a business partner, it can be a friend, it can be something, but it is going to be some kind of connection that offers you some emotional connection. Yeah, some deep emotional connection. So this is really positive. So it feels like you've done some good work on yourself, like some good self work, and it's only really because of that that your outer reflection, right, the outer world is beginning to now reflect what all of the work that you've done inside, and the balance that you've created inside by doing self-work is now being reflected onto the outside, right, of what you experience. It's the law of attraction, and how that is going to be reflected to you is by bringing in a person that is going to be in balance with you and who is really going to offer you some beautiful emotional connection. Okay, so that's what it is for you, Virgo. Yeah, sounds nice, and good work. Good work. Good job, like working on yourself and coming to terms and with certain things and balancing out your emotions. That's not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of awareness, and it takes a lot of being conscious and practice and all of that. So, and it doesn't come easy. So, congratulations for making it this far. All right, that is what it is for you. So, aloha, take care, namaste.